Today we're creating reusable graphics in Procreate with transparent backgrounds, and we'll be painting a sketchy fall bouquet as our example. The color palette for this project is free as always. Just tap on the link in the video description and you can download and install it. I'm going to start by creating a brand new canvas. I've listed my specs on screen, and let's begin. This week's tutorial is brought to you by Envato Elements, which is kind of like the Netflix of graphic design. They have tens of thousands of resources available to artists, including stock photos, presentation templates, audio tracks, logos, fonts, and my favorite, Procreate brushes. We're actually going to be using a set from their library for this week's tutorial, and they've generously offered every Tuesday subscribers with a 70% off coupon, which makes it less than $10 a month to try out. It's limited time though, so tap on the link in the video description to grab your coupon, and also be sure to check out the Tuts Plus YouTube channel for even more great content from Envato. All right, let's pick up the brushes that we're going to be using. So once you're logged into Envato Elements, up in the search bar, just type in canvas texture and then hit search, and then over here tap on add-ons and it'll be the very first one listed. So tap on that and then hit download. Okay, I've got my canvas all set in Procreate. I have those brushes loaded in right here. And the first thing we're going to do is create a really simple, sketchy fall bouquet. So there's really no pressure here at all. If you're brand new to drawing in Procreate, this is a perfect exercise to get started. So I'm going to select my yellow color and I'm going to give myself 3 hero flowers. So these are going to be the most prominent flowers in my little sketchy bouquet. I'm going to come into my brushes and grab the JA Canvas Smear Brush, and I'm going to increase the size a bit. Let's come up to like 8%, and I'm going to do a large flower right here, one right here, and one right here. So I'm going to vary up the size a little bit, and these petals, like I said, they're just super sketchy. You can put as many petals as you'd like on these. I am going to vary up the scale in the flowers though. So you can see I'm just making them just scribbly lines, and there we go. Next, I'm going to pop in some surrounding supporting florals. So all these florals will be either different shapes or they'll be smaller in scale. So I'm going to create a brand new layer. I'm going to grab my pink color, which is the third one on the top row, and I'll put in some really tiny supporting flowers. And this brush is nice because with a little bit of pressure, you can just put like 5 dots and you instantly have a little flower. So I'm just going to surround these ones with some pink flowers, and then we'll also add in some little yellow flowers. So I'm going to reduce the size a little bit. I'm going to keep these ones on the same layer since they're the same hierarchy wise and they're not going to run into each other. I'm not going to have any of these overlapping. I've got my little yellow flowers, and the next thing I'm going to do is add in some orange flowers. So I'm going to create a brand new layer. I'm going to grab the second color on the top row. And for this one, these ones are going to be a little bit different in shape. I'm going to do like a scribbly mark and some extra scribbles. It's almost like a triangle shape. And I'm okay with overlapping some of the existing elements because I do want to show a small sense of depth here. And that's a really easy way to do it, is just to have some overlap happening. And then the last element, I'm going to create a brand new layer and grab my blue color. So it's the third one on the second row. And I'm just going to put a little cluster of dots. And once again, feel free to overlap existing elements. We're going to tie everything together in the next step. So I've got a lot of like little shapes that are floating. So now let's start anchoring them all together. The first thing I'm going to do is create the stamens of everything. So the stamens is the center part of your flowers. So let's take care of the yellow ones first. I'm going to create a brand new layer and drag it underneath my hero yellow flowers right there. And I'm going to grab my lightest purple, which these two purples are pretty similar, but this one is lighter than the second one. And I'm going to grab a softer brush. So I'm going to grab this JA point brush and just put a little circle in here. And you can go over it again if it's looking too soft. And then create a brand new layer. And I'm going to drag this layer above the yellow. And I'm going to switch my color to this brownish color and just layer on a little bit of extra color on top. And then create a brand new layer. I'm going to switch back to my light purple color and switch back to the canvas smear brush and put some little dots. So I have some supporting color behind it just to add a little bit more depth without having to draw like a zillion dots right here to fill in these larger gaps. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do, since these are my hero flowers, I want to add a little bit more detail to them than what I'm going to have with my supporting florals. So I'm just going to put some lines in the petals. So I'm going to come back down to the flower layer, create a brand new layer right above it, grab my orange color, and I still have my canvas smear brush selected, but let's reduce the size a little bit, 3%. And I'm just going to draw some scribbly lines coming out of the center and extending towards the ends of the petals. Let's next add in the rest of our stamens to our supporting florals. So the only other flowers that I need to add stamens to are my little pink ones and my little yellow ones. So I still have this lighter purple color selected, and I'm going to create a brand new layer up at the very top, and I still have this canvas smear brush selected, so I'm just going to put a little dot inside each one of these. I think I've got them all. I did notice that this one was overlapping the orange, so I do need to drag this layer down so it's just behind this orange layer. So here's my pink and yellow layer, and then here's my orange layer. So I just want these stamens right above the pink and yellow layer. Okay, next we are going to add in some of these stems to tie everything together. Let's first take care of the orange ones. So I'm going to come up to the very top, create a brand new layer. I'm going to switch to my darkest purple for this, and I'm still using that same brush, the canvas smear brush, and I'm just going to put a little dot on top of all of these. So it's overlapping the orange. And I'm going to do this for all the orange little flowers. And then the stems for these, I want to make sure that they tuck behind other elements. So that's why I only put these dots on the flowers on the top layer, because the stem of the flowers I want on a different layer. So create a brand new layer and then drag this one all the way underneath this yellow layer for the main hero flowers. And now I'm going to switch to my sketches brush and just draw these down. So they're kind of connecting into each other. And now we're going to do something very similar with the blue ones, only for the blue ones I'm going to use a brown stem. So I'm going to create a brand new layer right above the layer I just had, switch to brown. I'm still using the sketches brush, and then for these ones, these are going to be a little tighter together than the orange ones. So they're like a little cluster of berries. And I actually do want these ones to be in front of some of these yellow flowers, just because I think it helps with a sense of depth. So I'm going to drag this layer maybe all the way to the top, and let's see. You can see how it's poking out right here. I'm still keeping the yellow flowers as my hero flower, but I do want a sense of depth and hierarchy here. So that's why I'm okay with having them come in front. Now we just need to fill it out with some supporting foliage. So this part is actually easier than it's going to look. It's going to look more complex than actually making it is. So I'm going to create a brand new layer and drag this one all the way to the very bottom. And we're going to switch to that lighter purple color. And this time we're going to use this extreme grunge brush. And let's see, the size of this is right about 5%. And I'm going to do two different leaf types. I'm going to have some that come up like this, so they're just really long pointy leaves, and then I'm going to have others that come up and have leaves right off of a main branch or stem. So this is going to be the other type of foliage that I'm going to include here. So I'm just kind of getting a feel for how things are poking out and following that same feel. I'm going to make this brush a little bit smaller. I'm going to come down to 4%. And once again, there's no perfection in this at all. It's just scribbling, basically, little shapes here and there. Nice and loose. I don't want this to be too dense. I want it to feel like it's breathing really well without too much darkness anywhere. I like having all this white space in this style. And when you get to the center where they're kind of all tucked together, I want to give the impression that it's dense right here since it's the middle, but I'm still going to leave a little bit of breathing room in here. But I'm going to have a lot more leaves in here than around the outside of it. And if you want a few to tuck above some of these flowers that are further forward, just create a brand new layer up at the very top, and I can poke a few of these that overlap here and there. So it just gives a further sense of depth instead of everything being tucked behind. That is all set now, and now we're ready to make this a reusable graphic. So instead of just using it on one canvas, one time for whatever art you're using, if you like this design and would like to create an entire collection, maybe you're creating a stationery collection and you'd like to use this on multiple pieces, I want to show you how to do that, and we're going to quickly create some stationery pieces using this, and you'll see how fast it is. So first what we need to do is turn off our background color layer. This is just a flat white color, and once we remove this, then we're able to save it out as a transparent graphic that we can reuse later on. So I'm just going to uncheck the visibility of the background color, and it looks like it's black now, but it's not. It's transparent, so don't be alarmed by what it looks like. Next, we're going to hit the wrench. You're going to hit PNG under the share category and let it export, and then just hit save image right here, and that'll save it to your camera roll. Okay. So now let's create a brand new canvas, 1500 pixels by 1500 pixels at 300 dpi. Okay, I've got that brand new canvas, and now we're going to bring that artwork in. So hit the wrench, add category, insert a photo, locate the artwork in your photo album, and it'll pop it right in. And now it looks the exact same as we made it, only it's one flattened image. If I come into the layers, you can see right here. I'm going to make this a little bit larger because we're going to add a large box in here as a holding shape for messaging. So I'm just going to enlarge it off the canvas. I'm going to change the background color of this one to this very first color on the bottom row, just to add a little bit of background supporting color that's similar to the colors that I've got in this. If you want this to stand out a little bit more, you can change the blend mode of your florals to multiply. And then I'm going to create a brand new layer. I'm going to make sure my first purple on the second row is selected. I'm going to hit my selection tool, and down here I'm going to make sure rectangle is selected, and I'm just going to drag out a rectangle and then drop in that purple color. Now I'm going to center this up on my canvas, and I'm going to create a brand new layer. I'm going to grab that yellow color again, switch to the Sketches brush, and you can write any kind of messaging you'd like on here. Okay, so that's just a quick example of one way that you can use the florals. Now we're going to create a very quick invitation design, so I want to show you how to do that. So create a brand new canvas that is 7 inches wide by 5 inches tall, 300 dpi. Okay, I'm going to first set my background color, so tap on background color, and I'm going to choose the second one on the bottom row, so it's like a little bit purpley pink, very light shade, and then do the exact same thing we did before. Wrench, insert a photo, and this time I'm going to bleed it off of the top. So find a crop that you like, and then I can create a brand new layer. I'm going to grab the darkest purple. I still have the Sketches brush selected. You can use typable text if you'd like for this. I am going to letter it out, so I'm going to turn my drawing guide on so I've got a baseline I can work from. And then turn off my drawing guide, and there's another stationery example. So we've already reused this graphic twice, and then in the last example I'm going to show you a quick way to mock up a pattern. So we're just going to create another 1500 pixel by 1500 pixel 300 dpi square canvas. Let's set the background color, so tap on background color and choose this kind of seafoam color, the third one on the bottom row, and we're going to bring in our graphic again, wrench, add category, insert a photo. This time I'm going to reduce the size quite a bit. I'm going to tuck it up into this corner and then duplicate it and then drag it over kind of at an angle. And then I'm going to group these two together, duplicate that group, and now these are going to start getting cropped off. So whenever I grab another group, I'm just making sure that I'm duplicating the original group. So I get 2 full copies that aren't cropped off the edge. These ones are just going to tuck into the negative space right here, duplicate that bottom one again, and pop them right here. I just want to give you an idea of what this would look like. So you can, before you put in all the effort to make a seamless repeat, or if you just want to use this as a background or to see what it looks like, this is a really quick way to do that. And then I'm going to create a brand new layer, grab my yellow color and switch to my canvas smear brush. And I'm going to fill in some of this white space with just some little yellow supporting flowers. So it looks a little more exciting than just the same thing duplicated everywhere. Okay, once you're happy with that, let's just pop in those stamens. So create a brand new layer, grab the darkest purple, and just add a dot right in the middle of these. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you next time.